And so we want to thank you for coming, and we appreciate you coming, and we're going to get down to business in just a few minutes. And so our next speaker would be Mother Christina of the Hunger Strikers.
All right.
First I want to say that I'm so thankful that God brought me here to the Mario Wood Coalition. And I'm thankful because if it was not because of that, I would have never been able to go into the wonderful journey that it was the hunger strike. A journey of love and a journey for justice. A journey where I was able to feel the love and the need of our people for justice. Right. That's what I felt in that journey. I want to also say that I'm thankful that I am in this coalition whose leadership is a Black leadership. Leadership that comes from the community, who know their own people and are fighting for their own people. And we should give a big clap, a big applause, because this is a blessing when we have that. I also want to be thankful for the Black leadership that is willing to work with us, the Black and Brown, to unite Black and Brown people. That is willing, that is open to that need that we have, and that I have expressed in this meeting over and over again. I thank you for that. That is very beautiful, and it inspired my whole life. But I want to say that we know that the culture of this country is a racist culture. And it is highlighted in the police department. And that is in the basis of that racism that our young men and women have been murdered, but especially the young Black men in this country have been murdered, not only in San Francisco, but also in the whole of the United States. And that's why it's so important that we understand that the hate against Black people in this country is to be able to make us all fight one against each other and be able to go to other countries too and invade them and oppress them and get rid of them and steal everything from their own land. Yeah. This is the reality of what's happening. It is related, brothers. That's why I fight so much for Black and Brown unity, because the freedom of my people depends on the freedom of the Black people in this country. Right. And that is a fact.
My name is Rodney Williams. I'm a co-founder of Officers for Justice Police Officer Association. We started the association in the 70s, and we started it because what we wanted to do was bring fairness to the community, and what we wanted to do was bring fairness to us as minority officers. Unfortunately, I just found out about the meeting maybe a half hour, an hour ago, and came right over. But I just wanted to say that I wanted, and the chief didn't know about this because I wanted to get a chance to talk to him, but this city needs to have a police community relations unit again. And I don't mean public relations, I mean real community relations, and start talking about, you know, some of the problems that we're having. I think that I'm a retired officer. One of the officers of community relations has done an outstanding job, is Art Tapia there, who's made a lot of sacrifices to do it. We want to get a community relations unit started again. It's needed again. And the only way we're going to be able to get it, and the kind of community relations that we had before, is with your help. I think we're going to get some resistance from the other police officers association, but it can be done, it's needed, and I'm going to need your support. We're going to need your support. I'm not looking for anything. I'm retired. I'm not looking for a position or anything. What I'm looking for is the kind of relations that we did back in the 70s and 80s before they abolished it. Now, why did they abolish it? They abolished it because it was successful, it was doing their job, and they thought they didn't need it anymore. And so it was abolished. But this is something we really need, and we need the support to do it. We'll be going before the police commission, requesting that this unit be reinstated, and requesting that it this time be under a high-ranking officer so that he can get the job done.
I don't understand why the chief could get a gold watch and a pension and be the head of a gang that feel that they can do drive-by killings of black and brown people in our community. So I'm not in a hurry to rejoice about the chief walking down retired with a gun on his hip. I want the names of these killers. I want their pictures. Is that what we want? We want their pictures. We want their names. We want their history. We got their names. Have any of them ever had a mug shot? Because we need their mug shot too. And do you have pictures?
No pictures, the name.
No pictures.
No pictures.
Maybe that's the problem. Y'all don't even know what each other look like. That gross statement that Sir made, that things have been done differently. Now my little sister could have took the knife from that young man.
Yes.
She could have talked him out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
She wouldn't have had to wrestle it from him. And Chief Suhr's words were, if something could have been done differently, was that he could have dropped the knife.
Oh.
That's a hard statement to make in the light of the fact that this mother's child's blood is on the street. He's 6 feet in the ground with dirt in his face. Her heart is broken and her future is snatched from her. And then we have a chief of police who would say he could have dropped the knife.
Yeah.
Well, that gave me a knife when I joined the Boy Scouts. I'm still carrying it, you understand? And I don't understand why there isn't some real love coming from this office. Now, Chief, somebody picked you to be here. I don't know what the process was for, how that went about, but certainly you have picked up a cross, brother, that's a heavy burden. And you're not going to be to just be able to polish this over with saying, oh, we're going to have some reforms now. We're going to put toilets that flush on their own at the police station, and we're going to do this, that, and another, and dress up this, that, and we're going to start electrocuting people instead of shooting them with tape. And all that stuff is not working, man. It's not meeting and hearing the ears for the cry for justice.
Right.
You
Right.
can't go around assassinating folks, killing folks, and then think that the community is going to be satisfied with the fact that we got a new chief, we got some, what do you call them? Some tasers, some cameras. You're telling us now not to believe our lying eyes on the movies that we're looking at now, the cameras of Mario Woods. What's the big debate about that? That's obviously some murder took place.
First of all, I want to share with you that when some things were occurring recently, unfortunately, our chief was out of town. He had a family emergency. However, the OFJ is happy to state that we have been able to be involved and more inclusive with this chief than we have been able to have in the past. And this is a good thing. This chief has indicated his commitment to reform, and I know and I hear you saying that reform does not just mean body-worn cameras. I hear you saying that reform does not mean just the change in policies and procedures. I hear you that you are saying that reform means that you, the citizens that we serve, also feel like you're included in the process.
Now, look, I know everyone is talking about reform here, but we just want to reiterate, Justice for Mario Woods is not about reform. I mean, you guys can go ahead and fight for reform, that's on you, but Justice for Mario Woods Coalition is fighting for to bring murder charges on those officers who killed Mario Woods. We're also looking for independent investigations, patterns and practices investigation that either includes the Department of Justice or Kamala Harris. That's what we're standing for. We support whoever do whatever they do. But here in this house, here in this house, here in this house, our demands are those. And we are moving forward with the battle cry of the people that enough is enough. Enough is enough. Let me hear you. Enough is enough. Let me hear you.
Enough is
I don't hear you.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. And so we will work with you, but just understand that in this house, we're not standing behind reform. We're standing behind our last two demands. Thank you.
SEIU, thank you for having me. I appreciate you letting me in your house. I heard the chant. I am in your house. And I know you guys have your own set of rules and everything about what you guys want to get done. But I wish there was another invitee here tonight, and that's the District Attorney, George Gaston.
Right.
Because the Mario Woods case right now is sitting in his shop and in his lap. He's been given all of our information and he has it all right now. So the charging decision is his and his alone at this point. So at some point, that may be something you guys want to talk about or get to. And I know some of the...
We own it.
Okay.
We own it.
Well, I know, trust me, I know you, Felicia, I know you are. And Bishop, I expected no less than you to call me to the carpet, as you've always done, and every time I've seen you. I know it's a real brother, I know he believes in everything he says, there's no fakery about him, and I get what you're saying. And I don't know what your definition of a long time, but I've only been in that seat for about a month and a half now.
That's a long time.
But I will say this, and hold on, I'm not done. And I've already, in terms of change in this department, we've already jumped over some massive hurdles that got stuck and bogged down for years. We've already gotten past them, and I won't go into details about it. You've seen it. I know you're talking about, you don't want to hear about the reforms, but they're important. They're important because going forward, my goal is to stop black and brown lives and all lives taken by the hands of police officers to be stopped and get to a point where we're not chapping and shoot or kill anybody. And that's what the new policies are coming for. So I get what you're saying. You got some stuff in your rearview mirror you got to get cleaned up, and that's one of the main items. But I just wanted to say that that's not my shop anymore. That now sits with the district attorney, and he has to make that decision, like with all these cases. And I will say this, it's good to see brothers that I've known for over 2 decades, like Big Herm from the Bayview out here, and he knows we've been in this battle for a long time. Nothing I've heard tonight is new to me. I grew up in Oklahoma, and I lived half in Oklahoma and half here, and I've experienced everything you're talking about in this room myself personally, and it shaped how I did my career. I almost didn't take this job because of the San Jose Police Department and traffic stop. I won't go into details about that. So I come from an area where, you know, I didn't come into this world wearing this blue uniform. But I did come with this color of the skin, so I get what you're saying. I'm not blind, I'm not deaf, I get everything that you're saying. I've experienced it myself. So understand I'm operating from that perspective. And Mr. Landry, folks out here that I've seen in the struggle for a long, long time, you know, I respect your positions. And I will tell you this, if someone comes across my desk for racism, for brutality, I'm pushing them out to the police commission. And I will just say this, I think Commissioner Wang walked in and he's sitting back here. I'm going to refer him to him for with the recommendation of termination.
Right.
Because I can't fire anybody. I don't have the ability to.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Gwen.
So, what's up with the sergeant in Tennessee who took Bayview Station and said he took the station to murder niggers? His words.
Thank you.
We haven't even had the respect. And I have to take this to taxpayers. Because mind you, they think we don't work and we don't pay our taxes and we didn't buy our homes. So, they didn't even give us the respect. He's just on suspension. Because you can tear it down brick by brick if you want to, but as long as that mentality is there, guess what? I said this to you guys before. After Mario, they're gonna kill somebody else. They don't love us, they don't respect us, they hate us. And they ain't killing my baby. same way they said, kill us like animals. And that's what they did. That's what they did.
What they did.
And guess what? Yes, the sergeant's gone. That chief, he's gone. And he was an insult to me when my baby lost his life. But there's a residue. And that residue is deep in San Francisco. And let me tell you, you know how long I've been here. My dad was Navy. He brought us into here. Mario was born and raised here. I took a job in Texas just to get us out of here until my mom got terminal cancer. And I had to come back, resign with Lancome, come back. I lost my sister and buried her. I lost my brother to cancer. I lost Bobby 30 years at the post office of cancer. And I said God was blessed, he was good, he was grateful. I didn't have to bury a child. But guess what?
Police.
Good old San Francisco
Police.
executed in the form of those emails. Somebody knew about those emails. Way back when. Someone knew. And just like and then your POA, another insult. When I went to pick up Mario's high school diploma, keep me out of it. They said keep me out of his graduation. Guess what? Yo, the POA told 2 officers, and God, I pray for them every night. They are snitches. I was called every bad thing. I worked, I paid my taxes. My child didn't deserve that.
No, he didn't.
Didn't deserve that.
Right.
And then they're arrogant enough to look around and think it's okay and go out and kill others because they have not been held accountable. Would not even let me sleep at night if I didn't bring this back into your face. He came out of Beaumont for this exact reason. San Francisco is the new Jim Crow Jr. And if you don't have heart enough to stand up and say, guess what? You have to stand up to this mess. Because I pray every day, God, I don't want to hate, but my hate, God knows. I have to catch the TV because when I see them shoot my baby down, and yes, he was loved.
Yeah.
And he deserved to be loved.
That's right.
Where's Kapinski? Is he fired?
Good question.
Because guess what?
Where is
He
he?
has friends, and they're on that force too. And they feel there's no accountability. You know how they feel? They know after Alex Diego, when you can get on the block, burn their houses down, go kill his friend.
Make it plain.
They don't feel an accountability. My dad said this. There's a moment you will be a David, and you will have to stand against your Goliath, and you will have to let God be the slingshot, and God knows I will. I pray to the heavens. I pray to my mom and dad. They don't know what they've done. I got up every day to work because those kids were the reason I've been in the whole family. You can't just say at random time, you can de-escalate a group of people for whom you choose. You gotta look at it and call it wrong. Because it was so wrong. And still nobody gives the debut. What happened to Sergeant Kapinski? Is he fired? Because if I was on the job, there's a 0 tolerance policy. And guess what? I'd have to go. Racist, sexist, homophobic emails and text messages. You gotta go. Because
Gwenn is absolutely right. I told you before, and I'll say it again, my recommendation is termination. The state of California has laws that prohibit me from talking about individual officers in particular, so I'll speak generic. My recommendation is termination for folks with those issues. And you said something else that's huge. And Bishop, I know it's not something you'd like to hear, but she said something that's profound, and it's got to be addressed, and it has been addressed. De-escalation's got to be across the board. I was watching the news and I read an article, and they were talking about this thing, and I watched the news first and saw it, and then I read the article second, about a white supremacist couple, man and a woman, Caucasian, and they got in a running gun battle with the police. They ended up being taken into custody without being shot or killed. And I understand that when you look at that, you're like, well, how does this happen over here and not over here? And you are absolutely right. That's why it is important to write policies to stop this stuff from happening, to make de-escalation across the board. You can't de-escalate in the financial district and not at West Point and Middleton.
Right.
You cannot. It's got to be done across the board because the sanctity of life says it's all life. You have to walk in every situation with the thought. I'm not just looking to walk out of this a lot. For years we taught ourselves, you got to go home at night. You got to go home at night. Well, so does he. So does she. Everybody should be going home at night. And that's what I'm pushing now.
You be going to jail at night.
No, but I'll tell you right now, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. And I'm gonna look for support from her. Man, there's folks in our community that kill folks in our community. Look at her going, what? What? Yeah, Herb, I'm putting you on the hot seat, man. But brother, let me just say this to you. There's folks, and there's a woman that comes to the police commission every Wednesday, Paulette Brown.
Right.
And she says, you know who killed him. Mayor Newsom said, he knows who killed him. She says that all the time. But you have to let the process work through. And part of letting that process work through is, like I said, getting the district attorney to come talk to you about where his investigation is. He's got everything. We've given everything over to him. He's got everything.
That's why we invite you to become the loudest voice in this community to get the DA, his grandmama, and anybody else that can make this thing happen. It's not just on us, it's on you too.
No, but I can't. Let me tell you why. He's elected. No, it's not that. It's not that. I'm going to tell you, I'm good. And I've said this is a labor. Let me just say this to you. This is a labor of love for me. I'm doing this for everybody in this room right now. Not because of me. This is the worst job I've ever had. I walk in, I'm being a hush with you. It is. I know you're laughing at me, but and we talk. This is the worst job I've ever had. But I will tell you this. At the same time, it's the best job I've ever had because it allows me to step in here and to start implementing and making the changes. But part of that is you can't get bogged down in going, the changes ain't what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for something back here. Because I'm telling you right now, there is a potential that this can happen again. And that's got to be eliminated.
Right.
And that's how you eliminate it, is with policy. With going after folks, when they step over that line, you hit them. And that's what I'm going to do.
Well,
and let me finish. And like I said, I can't talk to any specific officer, but I'm just saying, if you come across my desk with those allegations, since I can't fire them, the city will not let me terminate anybody. I can only recommend to the police commission that the person be terminated or be suspended for anything over 10 days. That's my power is limited as the chief of police, as all chiefs have been limited to a 10-day suspension or less.
Reform right there then. Let's start the reform right there. Let me hear you screaming.
From your ears to City Hall's, from your mouth to City Hall's ears.
Your mouth to City Hall. I want to hear you saying that these suckers need to be arrested, but my hands are tied because we got a police commission that don't give a hoot and they still rolling. You and your command staff need to be the loudest voice speaking for justice.
Yeah.
We are the loudest voice. We sit across from the POA, from other organizations that we have to negotiate, use of force policies with, and everything else. Bishop Wayne sitting here. We've been fighting. We've been fighting hard to get some things changed. And part of the impetus for that change is sitting in this room right now. And I'm going to say this to you.
I don't like the way you're dismissing yourself.
I'm not dismissing myself. You asking me to comment on things that unfortunately are going through the legal process, and I'm forbidden from commenting on.
It was legal at one time, brother. Legality can't stop us from doing what's right. I'm sitting there, they say you use a gun, you go to prison.
Right.
But
that stops people.
But you know what you're asking me to do?
Crime
more so than the law.
But you know what you're asking me to do?
Yeah,
To do that
I'm
what you would
asking you
get,
to
you're
step out of
asking
your
me to do that what you would hate. When police officers go, here go the line, let me just step on over for this.
They're doing it. That's what they're doing,
But
brother.
that's my point, it's wrong. It's wrong if you do it here, if you do it there, if you do it anywhere, it's wrong. And the problem is, if you take this badge and this gun, and you take that oath to do the right thing, to follow the law, and you don't, you gotta get dealt with.
See,
And so-
you're using soft language.
I'm not using soft language, that's hard
Not to do
language.
the wrong thing is to do murder, brother. We're talking about murder. You got a gun and a badge, you took an oath, and you're murdering folks. Now, if I'm the chief of police, and I say that these murders shouldn't happen, then as the chief of police, everybody on my command staff is gonna put some pressure on the mayor, gonna put some pressure on the DA, and gonna put some pressure on the police commission to see that justice is found and not a whole bunch of rhetoric, brother. Don't nobody hear me?
So do I, and one quick thing. Do you realize both people you said to put pressure on were elected?
Yeah,
The district attorney
yeah,
and the mayor.
yeah. Yeah.
The district attorney's an independent body. I can't touch him. I can talk all day and I can say what I want to say. And you know, there was a well-publicized battle
I can't
between
touch it
him and my
either, but I
wait,
can't be silent, chief.
No,
I can't touch it,
exactly.
but I can't be silent.
And nor
because
should you be.
silence is destroying this
But
community, chief.
Bishop, nor should you be. Matter of fact, I'm encouraging you not to be. Hold everybody's feet to the fire, mine included. Do not let anybody off the hook.
Well,
That's
in
why I'm here tonight.
in that point, Chief, not to let anybody off the hook, we're not gonna let the captain of Bayview Station off the hook. And he's sitting right over, was under his watch. Kapinski was under his watch, and he is still there. And so he has to be held accountable. He is the captain of that station, and he needs to be held accountable. And we stand here today saying we want him gone.
God.
We
God.
want him gone. We want him gone, Chief. And so that's the number one thing where you're saying, okay, you're going to say to the commission that they need to be terminated. Well, we're saying that we want that captain gone from Bayview. Too much has happened under his watch. It continues to happen, and we are not standing for it. And he has the nerve to come in here with you, Chief.
Chief Brody.
Come on now, Chief. That ain't right. And so
And he
I
has
know
answered
our
my
fearless leader just got here. Let him get his breath. But we are here for those of you who believe that that captain who's sitting in the back gotta go. Stand up. Stand up. Stand
You work for your folks. You work for the people in this room to make sure that their work conditions get better and better. Well, sometimes, at some point, you get to a point where, you know, to get to an employee to terminate them, and I know everybody in this room is probably familiar with this, it's not as easy as it once was to fire somebody. You gotta jump through a lot of hoops because, and I won't mention the department, there's departments that have fired cops, and they've all got the jobs back and some money because it wasn't done the right way. And for government agencies to change, it's gonna take what you folks in this room have been doing. You know, walking around and lobbying and fighting for laws to make sure that they're passed, to make sure that the things that need to get done. And I mean, at the end of the day, we all work for you.
Well, that leads to a follow-up, if you don't mind. We have as our third demand that there be a full and complete pattern and practice investigation of this department because the Coalition for Mario Woods, Justice for Mario Woods, does not believe that this department, given what you're saying, can transform itself. And you mentioned the 60s and the 70s. You know, one of the things that has forced this department to be better or at its best is when you're being sued and when you're being forced. when the OFJ sued SFPD to force SFPD to change its hiring practices and be more inclusive of the demographics of this city. That's when SFPD began to look like the people that they were policing. Black, brown, red, yellow, women, tall, short, etc. But it was forced upon this department. Is Rodney Williams here?
Yeah, right here.
Okay. The great Rodney Williams, and OFJ back then was maybe more activist. And your sister Yolanda's trying to get OFJ back to that DNA. And it's a struggle because there are those who'd rather it be an employee benefit organization rather than an organization that's an advocate for justice. But when Rodney Williams and the founders of that organization that you're a part of stood their ground, that's when SFPD began to make some of the changes that it has been forced to make, is when it came under consent decree through law enforcement or, pardon me, legal action. Having said that, would you, and I asked you this before, but it appears as if time is no longer our friend, and the confidence that you, in your honesty and clarity, are trying to restore is taking longer. It may not be gaining as much traction as we hope, but certainly that, along with a pattern and practice investigation led by not cops program, but by the Justice Department and the State Attorney General, would that aid you as the new chief trying to move this big battleship of hard-hearted recalcitrants forward? Will this help you? Wouldn't this help you to get the kind of cleanup that you're trying to get for this department as quickly as it needs to be gotten?
The short answer is no. And let me tell you why. I came in under that consent decree in 1990. But here's the catch to that. When we worked, and Rodney, thank you for the work you did on that thing, we needed it. But when we worked to get into this department back then, you probably heard the former chief say this many, many times. The people caught up in Textgate would not be hired by today's standards. That's because when we did the consent decree back then and opened that door up, a whole lot of people snuck in. And some of them were those folks. And the other thing with that, with the patterns of practice and all the other things you're talking about, and I won't mention the department by name, but we all know of several departments that are under that now that have major problems. So I don't think that's a panacea. I don't think it works. I mean, I think you have a federal monitor sitting across the water. They've been in that for what, 10 years, over a decade? So my answer is no, because I've always said this: if you make somebody do something, they will begrudgingly do it, but when you turn your back, they'll do something else. But if you do it voluntarily, and every time the DOJ is touched down here, and they're looking at us from top to bottom, and they're gonna issue their report. We got that blue ribbon panel. We have a whole lot of hands in the pot right now looking at the SFPD. And when they come out with everything, we're moving on it. There's been more change in this department in the last 2 years than I think they've seen in probably 5 decades. And we're moving forward. And a lot of the moving forward, again, has to do with the work a lot of folks out there have done. The movement in this country has made law enforcement look in the mirror at itself, and there's been some ugly reflections coming back in some instances. And all the changes going forward, you're right, you're not gonna tase your way out of this. This has got to be a legitimate move by the department to work for the people that they were charged to work with, and that's the community they serve. And you're right. Not because you're trying to see what benefits you get in this organization, but because you took this job for one reason. I met with everybody in that police academy today, 210 young folks in that academy today, and I told them all the same message that I'm going to tell every last one of them going forward, and it's the message that we're going to keep pushing out. Remember why you took this job: to help people, not hurt them, to help them. And that comes first and foremost to anything else.